So let us begin, class, and we'll start with a salute. Nice to see you. So I understand that in this class, you're in the first section, you're getting near to the end. You did parry, block, and punch the last 2 weeks. You're nodding, so that's good. So my guess is that you're pretty good on parry, block, and punch. So what I'm expecting is we'll do a little bit of review on parry, block, and punch, and then we'll move on to the next movement, which is the parent closing up. Every teacher is different, and they do slightly different things. So I like to start with standing practice. So Christy, I don't know if you know standing practice. But let's just do this together. So we start with our feet shoulder width apart or a little bit wider, feet parallel. Um, One of the things that we're focusing on in February is the first essential, which is the head lifting up. So as we do our standing practice, we'll focus on posture, but I will focus on the head lifting up part of that, and we'll talk about that as we go through the form as well. So just to get into standing practice, so bend your knees, drop your hips straight down, feel your weight even between the ball and the heel. So you can rock forwards and backwards, just to check that you have the weight. Find the middle point. And we're going to have our arms rounded. So you can start, if you want, we'll just start with our arms down here, um, which is a perfectly fine position. So your arms rounded, fingertips pointing to each other. If you're comfortable, lift the arms up to chest height. If that becomes too much work for your shoulders, you can always drop them down again. And so from here, let's spend a couple of minutes in standing practice. So this is about our posture. And the first thing is the first essential, which is in Chinese translated empty, light, pushing up, energetic, referring to the head. The second one is sink the shoulders, drop the elbows. Third one is absorb the chest, so feel your elbows pulling away from the spine so that your chest is slightly absorbed, your back is slightly rounded. And now feel your hips dropping straight down, so that extends, lengthens, and opens your spine. And our goal is to be relaxed in a Taiji sense, which is loose and open and soft. So feel just softness in this posture as you have your head lifting up. So let's focus on the head. So imagine your head is like a helium balloon. So it's just floating up, it's lifting up, it's pushing up, pulling up. And the front of your face is square, vertical. The crown of your head is where it's lifting. And imagine that your neck is the string and your shoulders are like a coat hanger, or the rest of the body is like a silk uniform, and everything from the shoulders on down are just sinking away. The head is lifting, you're feeling the head lifting up, and everything else from the shoulders down are just dropping. And as we do our practice, what we're going to try and tend to this month actually is just from time to time come back and say to yourself, is my head light, empty, pushing up, and energetic? This is also a way for us to keep looking forwards, looking usually, we're looking at the horizon, taking in the world around us and expressing our spirit. So this is, we've done 2.5 minutes. Let's do 30 more seconds. So feel the head up. As the head goes up, feel the shoulders dropping down. Feel there's a string on your elbows pulling your elbows down. Now feel your chest absorbed as the elbows and pull out to the side. You're holding a ball. Your arms are like the surface of a ball expanding in all directions. And relax your lower back, drop your hips straight down. Okay, and release the arms. Let's just do a little bit of warm up. So just rotate your hips in one direction. So just warming up the hip joints. Let's go around a few times and go back the other way. We don't do full warm-ups, right? I'm not going to do full warm-ups. You can always do those yourself before the class starts. So come to a stop. We're going to loosen up the lower back. So we're going to move our chest and we're going to try not to move our hips. So bend the knees to help fix your hips and just rotate the chest from side to side. So the chest going from side to side is what's making your arms go from side to side. And actually in the form, as you think about doing single whip and the arms coming around, this kind of movement is what's making the arms come around as you go from push to single whip. Okay, now let's open the shoulders and start warming up the ankles. Just bend the knees, just do a light shoulder exercise. And as always, just because I say something doesn't mean you should do it. If your body doesn't like anything I suggest, listen to your body. Don't listen to me. And let's go the other way. All right, just open up. And let's open the shoulder joint. Let's open the wrists, the elbows and the shoulders. So start with your arm out. And we're first just going to do the wrists. So the palm comes up and in. Just rotate it 3 times. Wrist rotates. Now keep the wrist rotating and add the elbow. So coordinate the wrist rotating and the elbow rotating. And try and keep your arm rotation in the plane of the side of your body. Try not to go forwards. Try to keep it in the plane. And now add the shoulder. So big circle. So this is rotating the whole arm, wrist, and elbow. Now let's try the other side. So palm, fingertips coming in and around. So wrists a few times, add the elbows. Try and keep the rotation of your forearm in the same plane as your upper arm. And now we'll add the whole shoulder rotation. All right, and now let's go to the other side. We started with the palm going up and in. Now we'll go down and in. So just rotating the other side. Let's do that 3 times. And add the elbow a few times. And then add shoulder. Shoulder opening. Yep, that's looking good. And let's do the other side. So down and in. On the wrists. Keep the wrists going, add the elbows. And then add the shoulder. Okay. Good. And let's stop there. So what we're going to do, let's just practice the first section together as far as you've gone, which is to the end of parry, block, and punch. I use this little red tag to show the front of the room. So if you practice starting towards the screen, I'm going to start practicing in the same direction. So we're all facing the same direction. So we're going to start at the beginning in prepare, which is feet shoulder width. And we'll start in our prepare posture. Head up, shoulders sinking, fingertips down the side of the thighs. I will just call the movements without any cues. If you have any questions about any of these things, ask when we finish. And think about your head floating up as you do the form. Opening. Grass bird's tail. Ward off, left. Ward off, right. Roll back. Press. Push. Transition to single whip. Here's that arm swing. Coming back. Single whip. Raise hands. Step forward. White crane. Spreads its wings. Left brush knee and push. Hand strums the lute. Left brush knee and push. Right brush knee and push. Left brush knee and push. Hand strums the lute. Left brush knee and push. Step forward. Parry, lock, and punch. And we'll stop there. Okay. So let me just get rid of this. Are there any questions? Any movements? We will review parry, block, and punch for sure. Any other movements that you want to review or have a question about, want to talk about, struggling with? Nope. Okay, good. So let's review parry, block, and punch. You can practice along. What I'll do is I'll just walk you through the essentials of parry, block, and punch. We'll practice it together a few times, and then I'll watch you practicing it a couple of times just to see if there's anything that I missed. So with parry, block, and punch, so if that's the front of the room over there, 12 o'clock or south, or just the front, and we're going to do parry, block, and punch. We started in a left brush knee, so left leg forward, right arm pushing out, left arm by the hips. So one, we're going to shift back slightly, lift the right arm with body turning, open the left toe and turn the body so the hands are now on either side of the center line to the front. I'm still looking to the front. Now I'm going to do a pull down. As my arm pulls down, I make a fist, step out. As my heel touches, my arms are both to the back corner. In other words, the northwest corner. I'm looking in the direction of my left hand. Now I shift my weight forward for the second parry. So now with my weight almost on my weight pretty much on my right foot, I'm doing the second parry here. My left hand is opposite the center of my right forearm. I'm going to step through into a bow stance, block right fist by the right hip, left arm out, and then shift forward, left arm bending as I punch forward from the hips. My chest is square, my head is up, I'm looking straight forward. Good. So let's review a few things. Let's just do the footwork. We'll do the body movements. We'll do the arm movements. We'll do the gaze. And then we'll put that all together. So the first thing is the footwork. And so as you know, as you've done before, if I'm going in this, if I'm going forward, we're doing a transition step. So I shift my weight back, open my left foot. I'm going to step my right foot also to the corner, center line two sides. And then I'm going to step into a bow stance. So that's my transition. So that's the stepping for parry, block, and punch. Open the left foot, step center line two sides with the right, and then step into a bow stance. One of the things to remember always, it's always worth reminding, when we do any stepping, is to make sure that we keep, we say crotch rounded or your groins open or your quad to use the Chinese. So we're going to shift our weight back and open the left foot. Make sure that you actually open your pelvis here. So that's opening here. As we step through, make sure that your knee and toe are in a line. And as you shift your weight forward, shift your weight in the direction of your foot. Don't shift your weight this in the direction of motion, because if you do that, you've got no support. So shift your weight in the direction of the foot, bring the back foot in, step through. Now we're in a bow stance, foot is straight, and we go into our bow stance. Footwork, that's the footwork. Any questions about the footwork? You should know this by now, good. Body turning. So let's start again. And I'm just going to keep my arms in front of my chest, just so that if you want to check the body turning, this is the easy way to do it without worrying about what the arms are doing. Okay, so you can see, so when we start, the chest is square because we've done brush knee. So my chest is square to the front. I shift my weight back. I open the left toe, and you can see my body opens to the left. I'm going to step through into my transition step. My body keeps opening to the left, so it's open to the left even more. Then I'm going to step through. As I come through, my chest is square. As I step out with a bow stance, my chest is open to the right, and I come forward, my chest is square again. So what you'll see is there's a lot of movement of your chest from left to right. Hey, Rima, great to see you. Welcome. I'm subbing for Cheryl today. It's JP, great to see you. Okay, so let's just go through the footwork one more time, and actually I'll turn around so you can see me from the other side, if that's of help. So we're going to start left bow stance, shift weight back, open the left, so the whole body turns to the left. As I step through to my transition step, my body keeps turning to the left even more. So my chest is now open more than corner. I shift forward my weight onto the right. My chest is square. I step through, my chest opens to the right, and then I come chest square. So that's the arm movement, the chest. Now let's talk about the arm movements. We'll start, I'll just face to the front. You can obviously face any direction you like. But just to remind you, when we begin, we start in this stance, shift weight back, left hand comes up halfway, turn the left toe out, and you can see that I'm in this position we call ward-off position. My left arm is rounded, fingertips pointing to the right forearm center. Now as I step through, both arms are going to circle down. My right arm is going to pull down. I'm going to make a fist, try and keep the palm parallel to the ground, and I'm going to end in this position. So I've started here, pull down, make a fist, step. So when I touch with the toes, both my arms are to the back corner. Now I'm going to shift my weight forward. When I'm forward here, you can see my fingertips are opposite the center of my forearm, and in this direction, it looks like this. So you're all looking pretty good. And so Rima, at this point, we actually are making a fist. If you can make a fist at this point, good, excellent. And so we've made our fist here. I'll do it from this side. Yep. So then I'm going to step through into my bow stance. So when I step through into my bow stance, arms are open. Check that your fist is by your hip crease on the right with your palm. You've still got a fist, but your palm is up. Yep. Now you're going to come forward and throw your fist straight up. So fist comes up to here. And your final position, just make sure that your left palm is pointing at your right forearm center. So I don't know if this may be a camera issue, Christy, but make sure that your palm is opposite your yeah, like that. There is distance. There's about a fist width of distance, but it's the same height as your forearm. Last thing we need to talk about is just to make sure the gaze. So where are we looking as we go? So let's just review the gaze, and then we'll practice it a few times together. So we're starting in left bow stance. I shift my weight back. As I turn to the left, my gaze starts going to the left. As I pull down, my gaze follows the hands going to the back left corner. I'm looking to the back left corner. As my arms come to the front, I'm looking to the front. I keep looking to the front because that's where my opponent is as I step forward and punch. In this position, check your posture. Your torso is tilted forward slightly. So I think we're all good. So our torso isn't vertical. Our torso is in line with the back leg. Good. So let's do that together a few times. But before we do that, let me just check. Are there any questions? No questions. Good. So let's just do this together a few times. And I'll just go from one side to the other, different directions. Just so think about if any of the things I mentioned were new or you'd forgotten or hadn't noticed before, try and practice that in, lock that in as we do the movement a few times together. Okay, we're in a left bow stance, left foot forward, right arm striking out shoulder height, left palm by the left thigh. Parry, block, and punch. Shift back weight, lift the left arm halfway. Turn the left toe out with body turning. The left arm is in roll back position, pointing right forearm center. Both arms circle down, looking to the back. Make a fist. Step, heel touch, arms to the side. Now shift your weight forward. When you're doing your second parry and your right arm is in the center, you're like 99% of your weight on your right foot. Step through into a bow stance. When the heel touches with the left leg, your left arm is out. Shift forward, weight, bend knee, and punch. Again, we're in left bow stance. Shift back weight, left arm comes up slightly. Turn the left toe out, turn the body. You're still looking in the straight direction. Both arms circle down, looking to the back corner, foot touches, arms to the side. Shift forward, weight onto the right, parry to the front. Step forward, heel touch, left arm out, right fist by the hip, and punch. Again, we're in left bow stance. Shift weight back, left arm comes up. Rotate the toe, rotate the body. Both arms circle down, out to the side as the right foot steps through heel touch. Shift forward weight, rotate the arm, shift onto the right foot, step through, block, and punch. One more time. Left bow stance. Shift weight back. Open the left toe with body turning. Both arms circle down, make a fist, keep the palm parallel to the ground, heel touch, arms to the side, shifting forward, right palm in the middle, foot weight on the right. Step the left leg through into a bow stance when the left arm is out, and then punch. Pause for a moment, don't move. Check your posture. Are you in a bow stance? 60% on the front, 40% on the back. Head is up, torso tilted forward slightly, right arm out from your shoulder, left palm fist width from the right forearm center. And stop. Okay. So Rima, I just noticed if you can, it looked a little bit as if your palm was this way. Try and have it sitting vertically. So the fingertips are up. So that it looks like this. And the palm is opposite the forearm center. Yeah, yes. The last thing, just this is a small thing, just to make sure how we make a fist, because this is the first time in the form that we learn to make a fist. So how do we make a fist? You know this. Start with your palm out, roll your fingertips up, keep rolling. Put the thumb on top of the knuckles like this. And then this, called the fist face, is where you punch. And if you can, keep that nice and flat. So you don't want a sort of an angled front. You just want a nice flat surface to punch somebody with. Good. Any questions? No. So if you can, just practice this movement starting in a left bow stance. Just do parry, block, and punch a couple of times. I'll watch, and I'll see if there's anything that I missed that I should remind you of. So just on your own time. That's looking good. Do it again. And stop when you get to the end. Okay. So there's a couple of things that I need to remind you of. And actually, before I do that, I will ask Susan to join me. We'll actually get 2 bites of Susan today because I just want to show you the application. It'll make it slightly clearer what we are going to do, you know, what the application meaning is, what we're thinking about when we do this movement. So in case you haven't seen it before, so what are we doing? So what you can think about. So what's happening is I've got an opponent coming. The opponent punches towards me, and I'm going to deflect down. So this is the deflect here. But I can actually catch them here if I want. You can't really see my other arm. They punch with the other arm. I'm going to deflect to the other side. At this point, I'm going to step in and I'm going to stop them punching with the arm that you can't see. And I'm going to punch them. So let's just turn around and show it from this side. Okay, so Susan comes in. I deflect. So one of the things I want you to think about when you deflect, you're using the underside of your forearm. So your palm is actually down. As you do this deflect, your hand is in, it's a fist, but remember the palm is down. So Susan is then going to punch with the other side. I'm going to deflect up. So the first deflect is down, the second deflect is up. Then the block is actually stopping. So Susan, try and punch me with the right arm. I'm using this left arm to stop her arm from coming towards me. And then I can punch from this position here. So thank you. We'll pick up again with the next movement in a little bit. So a couple of things I want you to take from that. One is The arm movement, particularly the left arm movement, I want you to think of making a circle. If you were to make like an infinity sign, it's like a flat figure eight. It comes down, goes to the side, and then comes back across the middle. Actually, for those of you who know Greek, it's the lowercase alpha, right? You're starting up here, it goes down, comes back up, and goes down again. So you can see when it comes when it comes down across the middle, my elbow is lower than my fist. When I come back, my elbow is again lower than my fist because I'm doing this shape, this shape. And in fact, it's this turning of my waist that's making my arm go. So you can, if you want, just swing your arm backwards and forwards and feel that movement. Yeah, great. Yes. And so think about what we're doing. When we're coming down, it's the inside of the forearm is the first parry. Then the second one is the outside. So we lead with the bottom, then we lead with the top. So that's what we're thinking about with our arms as we're doing this movement. Then the other thing that's looking pretty good, I just wanted to check, is that when we're in this position, so the fist is here and I'm blocking. So this is where you're stopping your opponent from hitting you. You've got this hand up against their shoulder. Then you're coming forward and punching here. And when you punch them, remember, you're punching at roughly the same height as this hand, and this hand is square to the front. So you can see that when I punch, it's like, yes, nice, Christy, just like that. Yeah. So you're coming from here, just one straight line up. Very good. So any questions about that? Last thing I just want to remind you of, and this is the same for this movement as well as for all the brush knees. When we start this movement, lift up and come in. And from this position, we can go to a brush knee where it's one arm up, one arm down, or we can go to parry, block, and punch where it's both arms down. But I want you to notice that the left arm is rounded and the right arm is up. The right arm is sort of at my center line here. I've turned my chest. So I started with my chest square. As I open my left toe, my body turns. Yep. And keep the fingertips. That's looking good, Rima. Keep the fingertips of the left hand pointing at the right forearm center, that you've got this nice rounded shape. Then feel this pull down, which is a bit like the beginning of White Crane that you did recently. Pull down, make a fist as it comes down, fist comes around, second parry coming down across the diagonal, comes to your hip, and then you're going to punch out. Yep, that looks great. Okay, any questions about that? Hopefully there'll be a bit of time at the end. We'll practice this and the new movement that we're going to do today. And if you have any questions, always just interrupt. Okay, good. So the next movement, we're getting close to the end of the first section, is apparent closing up. What I'm told, I don't know Chinese, is it sort of comes from if a shop has been closed by the municipal authorities, let's say you failed your food inspection, they put a great big X on your door. And we're going to make an X shape with our arms. And that's why this is called apparent closing up. The Chinese is something like, like closing as if closed, something like that. So let me just talk you through the movement and show you the movement, and then we can study all the parts and pieces. So we've done, and in fact, this is going to be, so the front is here. So if you're practicing, you'd be facing the other direction. So we've done apparent closing up, we've done parry, block, and punch here. So somebody's pulling at my arm. I yield forward, my left arm comes to the left. I pass the left under the right, sit back, turn my chest forward, and push out. This is apparent closing up. From the other side, I've done parry, block, and punch here. I yield forward, my left arm comes to the left. I sit back, left arm shuttles onto the right. Right comes over the left. I'm sitting back to here, my fingertips, these fingertips to the right forearm center. Put my palms in front of my chest and push forward. This is apparent closing up. And Susan, could we quickly do this one? Let me just show you what we are trying, what this means if you were to do it with an opponent, then hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. So let's say I was in this movement here. Susan grabs. And one of the first things you try and learn in Tai Chi Chuan is when somebody does something you don't resist, you yield first. They're not expecting that. They let them go. Now I need to release this grip that she has. So let's start again. Susan grabs. I yield forward, and let's turn around so that they can see my left hand. I yield forward. I'm going to move my left arm under the right arm and essentially put it under her wrist, and then strip my arm out of her wrist here. So now this hand is free. I'm controlling her wrist, and I can come forward and press. If you have somebody at home, you can try this on them. So get them to grab your wrist, turn their wrist up, and just pull down. What they'll find is because of this angle at their wrist, they can no longer hold on. If you lift it high enough, you actually have a bit of a wrist lock, and this is how you're able to release this movement. So what we're doing is releasing a grip. Thank you, Susan. We'll refine all of those things in the next 10 minutes, but let's begin with the footwork. So we did, actually, so I'll face in the same direction as you. So we've done parry, block, and punch. The first thing we're going to do, actually, the good news, there is no foot movement. Your feet aren't going to go anywhere. It's just body movement backwards and forwards. So this one is easy, unlike parry, block, and punch. For some reason, the young family always start with the difficult stuff. Can you remember ward off left? I mean, that's one of the hardest movements. Anyway, so we're in this left bow stance. We're going to shift our weight forward slightly. Now we're going to shift our weight back, and then we're going to shift our weight forward again. So really, it's yield forward, shift the weight back, and then come forward again. So that's the movement. It's back and forward, back and forward. And this is a bit like the waves coming in and going out, coming in and going out. So let's practice that together. This is a lovely movement. So just perform a bow stance. Go forward. Now move your weight back. Move your weight forward. Back. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. Forward. What I want you to feel, if you can, is imagine that there's a big weight attached to your hips, hanging through a hole in the floor, and you've got to like swing the whole thing forward. So you're going to push with your back leg, bring it forward, and then because you've got so much momentum going forward, you're going to have to stop using your thigh muscles on the front leg. Stop yourself. Now go back to the back, and again you've got to momentum backwards, stop it. So forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Yes, Rogelio.
When you did the punch, you have your torso tilted in the direction of your leg, right?
Right.
And grasp the burst tells you're supposed to keep that tilt. Is that the case here, or in this case you sort of straighten when you go back?
Thank you. Excellent point. So uh, we never want to lean backwards. Uh, the reason actually is Susan. Susan is still there. Um, I'm using a lot of Susan. It would be much nicer if we could just do this in person and you could push on me or I could push on you. But um, so let's say Susan is just going to push on me. If I am back like this and Susan pushes, I'm going to fall over. And this is something else you can try at home, but gently. So if my torso is backwards, I can't stop going backwards. If my torso is forwards and Susan pushes, she's pushing into my back leg. I really don't have to do anything. She's just pushing on my back leg. So that's why we keep our torso tilted slightly forward so that if we have energy coming in, we just transfer it. And that's why this back straight, leg straight is good, because it just means the energy goes from my shoulders straight down in a straight line to my back heel. So when we do this pull, I would not, so let's say we're here, I pull forward. I still have a slight tilt here, but I don't feel it's necessary to be at the same angle. As long as you're not backwards, you're okay. You can be in a slight angle here and then come forward. It's another way to think about this, Rogelio, or another place is at the beginning of the form when we've done ward off, right? So we're tilted forward here. I do press. Same thing, actually. Come back, push forward. In this case, we're just the other leg, same kind of rocking movement. And if Susan comes forward to me, I would just absorb back. So she'd come in, I absorb, push. But I will always have a slight lean forward here, just to be sure that I'm not vertical, because if I'm vertical, I'm gone. Okay?
Thank
Good.
you. Great.
Thank you, Susan. Okay. So that's the body movement. And so uh, the in terms of body movement, it's not a new technique. It's the same body movement that you did with push at the beginning of the section. It's just the other bow stance, and the arms are slightly different, but it's the same principle. You release back, you do storage back, and then you release coming forward. Let's talk about the arm movements, and here there is a new technique. So what I want you to practice is, so let's forget about the footwork for the moment. So you've got your fist out here. I'm not going to mirror because that confuses people. So you've got your fist out. This palm is here. As you yield forward, your left arm is going to go to the side and the palm is going to go up. Then the palm is going to go under your right forearm, under the right forearm. Then you're going to pull the right forearm over the left forearm down to here. And keep the left arm really doesn't do much. It goes up a little bit. Okay, so let's do, and so let's do that a couple more times. So we've started with the right fist, left palm here. As I yield forward, the left arm opens and the palm goes up. Then as I come back, the left palm, we say, shuttles under the right arm. The right palm opens and I pull. So you can see what I'm doing here, and I want you, this is sort of one of the requirements, is that your right arm is pulling over, boy, is there any way to do this that you can see, over the center of the forearm. So that's where you want to be pulling, always across the center of the forearm. When you do the applications in a martial art way, it could be over the wrist, it could be over the elbow, it could be everywhere, anywhere. But when we demonstrate the form, usually we use the center of the forearm as a reference point. Yep. This is a new technique. It's a method for taking somebody who's holding onto you, you do what we call passing palm. That's this movement. It goes to the side, comes under, and releases. So now you've changed from them holding you to you controlling them. So that's the technique that we're learning in this movement. Then let's continue just practicing the arm movements. So fist up, left here. So yield forward slightly, left arm comes to the side. Now right goes left, left goes right, underneath, open. So your right palm is about like this, left is like this. You're just going to sit both your palms in front of your lower ribs. They're just going to both be sitting here. And then you're going to push out, up slightly. Let's just do that again, and then we'll talk about it, about the meaning a little bit. So yield forward, left arm goes to the left. Right comes to the left, left goes to the right. Now with body turning, pull the right arm over the left forearm. Sit both palms in front of your ribs, and then push up and out. One of the things I want you to pay attention to, if you remember when we were doing our standing practice, holding the ball at the beginning, one of the things I said, and you've heard perhaps, is absorb the chest. So you always want to make sure that your back is slightly rounded and your chest is slightly concave. The reason for that is actually sort of similar to leaning forward. It's if somebody presses on my shoulder, I can actually yield. So if my chest is slightly absorbed, and somebody presses here, I actually have somewhere to go. If my shoulder is already open and somebody presses here, I'm gone because I've got nowhere to retreat to. So make sure, and so how do we apply that here? Let's say we're here, open to the left, come under, and here. So make sure that you're not like this. Make sure that your elbows are not past the side of your body. You want to make sure that you keep your chest absorbed. So when you pull, don't pull too far. Just pull to here. Then when you turn, your palms are shoulder width. But again, make sure that you're not like this. Make sure that you're like this, chest absorbed. And then we're going to push up and out. And the reason we push up, and this again, so Rogelio, the check is in the mail. That was just such a good question. The reason we push up and out is that if we push horizontally or try and push down, if the opponent is half good, you're just going to push into their back leg. They're not going to go anywhere. But if you push up, so if somebody's pushing up on me, I'm actually uprooted because they're pushing me up. If they pushed me down, I just go, yes, thank you. I'll just take all of that. And I'm not going anywhere. So that's why we want to push up so that we uproot the opponent. Let's practice this lots of times. Before we do that, any questions? Nope. Okay, good. So, and I'll just keep changing directions. And if you want to see a particular side, just let me know. So we've done parry, block, and punch. We're in left bow stance, right fist out. I'll start on this side. Apparent closing up. Yield forward, left arm comes to the left, body turns to the left. Now, passing palm, left under the right upper arm. Sitting back, pull the left arm back. So coordination with your footwork here, you're at the back. Change your chest to square and then push forward, up and out. Do that again. So yield forward, left arm to the left. Then coming back, right to left, left to right, and sitting back with the waist turn. Turn back, chest to square, pushing out. Again, we're in parry, block, and punch. Yield forward, left under right. Now pulling the right arm back, sitting back, turning the chest. turn to square, push up and out. Again, yield forward, left arm to the left, left under right, right comes to left. Separate. Make sure your elbows aren't past the side of your body. Sit the palms. Check that your chest is absorbed. Push forward, up and out. And relax. Let me add something else just as we think about why we do things. Master Youngjin, our teacher, always says the first thing is understand the reason, then practice your body. So one of the things that I'm going to focus on to talk about now is we talked about the weight shift, right? Forward, back, and here mostly it's back and then forward. As I'm trying to release, I move my body back. And the other thing that I'm doing as I come back is I'm turning my waist, in other words, my lower back, I'm turning my chest to the side. The reason for that is if somebody's got, they've grabbed me here and I'm trying to pull this arm back. I've only got so many muscles in my titchy little shoulders and elbows and arms, right? I don't have a lot of muscles here. I've got a lot more muscles in my core and in my thighs. So I'm actually using my weight shift back and my body turning to move my right arm. So it's mostly legs and waist that's making this arm come backwards. It's not this, because I really don't have lots of muscles here. So let's practice that. So we are in a left bow stance, parry, block, and punch. Shift forward, left arm to the left. Then left under right, right comes left. Now sit back, shifting weight back, open your chest to the right. Turning your chest back to square. Your chest is square here because you're going to push to the front, push forward, up and out. Yes, that's nice. And one of the things I really like is that all of you have got right is the palm shape. So I just want to underline good work because very often we find it's easy to have our palms in this shape or to have our fingers together. We have our palms slightly open. The energy point, the place where we're delivering energy, is the palm, the whole of the palm. That's where we're pushing. So that's why it's square. Again, bow stance, parry, block, and punch. And that's good correction. And Christy, your fist should be vertical. Yes, very good. Okay. Yield forward, left arm goes to the left. Now, left under right, shifting weight back to here. Now change arms in front of the chest and pushing forward. Yep. Rogelio, what I've noticed is just check when you bring your arms back that you don't have your elbows past the side of your body. It feels as if you're a little bit like this. Before you're pressing out, make sure you're like this, not like this. Okay? Again, I'll start on this side. We're at parry, block, and punch. Yield forward, left arm to the left. Now, right comes left, left goes right, left arm under the right upper arm. Shifting weight back, separate. Rotate the body, palms in front of the shoulders. Check, elbows to the side of the body, push forward. Again, yield, arm to the left, pull back, sit, push forward. We're going to speed it up a little. And if you are worried that you don't have all the details right, it doesn't matter. Let's just see what it feels like if we do it a little bit faster. Yield forward, shuttle under, pull back, sit the palms, push. Again, yield, left under right, pull right over left, sit the palms, push. Again, yield left, right, left under right, sit back, sit the palms, push. Again, yield to the left, shuttle under, sitting back, prepare and push. Again, yield, passing palm, pull down, sit and square, push forward, and stop. So one of the things that we do, we call it single movement practice. Rather than doing the sequence, what you can just do the same thing over and over and over again until your body becomes familiar with it. And one of the things that we aim for is to be for the movements to be so familiar that we don't have to think about them. We don't have to think about, is my elbow in the right place? Am I yielding? Am I passing in the right place? But the only way that happens is by doing it lots and lots of times. So that's why we do the same movement over and over again. Good. Let me watch you do this a couple of times and let me just see if there's anything that I left out. So just start in parry, block, and punch, left bow stance, right fist out. Just do the movement and let me just see if there's anything that I want to add. Okay, and stop when you finished. Just one thing I want to add that I wasn't clear enough about is this movement, this left arm at the beginning, it's pretty much a horizontal movement of the left arm. So you can see my arm isn't going down. It comes to the side, and when it goes under, it pretty much touches the underside of my right upper arm. So just goes straight to the left and then straight to the right, and then I separate. So make sure it's a nice horizontal movement. And then from here, so this right palm, remember that like rotation thing we were doing earlier? It's just rotating. So the right palm is just going to go from this position to this position. The right is going to have to move to match it. So we're just going to be going from this position to this position. Yes, very nice, very nice. Good. So to finish, let's do parry, block, and punch, and apparent closing up a couple of times, unless there is a question. Okay, let's practice. So we'll start with, and I'll go in the same direction as you to begin with. So that'll be the front for me. We've done left brush knee. So we're in left brush knee, left foot forward, right hand striking out, left hand by the thigh. Parry, block, and punch. Shift back weight, lift the left arm, turn the left toe, turn the body. Both arms pull down, step out when the arms are to the side. Shift forward as the weight goes onto the right foot. Separate the arms, block as the left foot touches, punching out. Apparent closing up, yield forward, left arm goes left arm goes right, sitting back as you pull the right over the left forearm, palms in front of the lower ribs, pushing out. Do it again on the other side, starting in a left bow stance, left brush knee, left bow stance. Yep, that's looking good. Parry, block, and punch. Shift back weight, lift the left arm. Now open the left toe with body turning. Both arms pull down, make a fist. Transition step, center line to sides, arms to the back. Now second parry to the front, step through into a bow stance, block with the left arm, shift forward, punch. Apparent closing up, yield forward, left arm to the left. Now shuttle the left under the right horizontally, pull back, turn to square, pushing forward, and stop. Okay, I have a couple of announcements. I'll do that when we finish, but let's just see if there are any last questions. Nope, let's just finish class here. Thank you very much for practicing with me. It was a pleasure to see you, and you'll be happy to hear that Cheryl will be back next week.